Living through the lens of your trauma. How many of us are still walking around carrying the weight and the baggage of what happened to us in our past? Living your life every day as if that moment of trauma, that abuse, that assault, that molestation, that moment isn't happening anymore. If you're still living through the lens of your trauma, you're going to feel defeated. You're not going to feel like anything is possible. You have to change your perspective. Your trauma is not happening to you right now. What happened to you 10 years ago isn't happening right now. What happened to you 20 years ago isn't happening right now. You have to remove the trauma from your perspective. If you want to live your life, flourish in your life, if you want to feel like nothing can stop you, you have to remove the trauma. You have to remove it. You have to ask yourself one question. Is this trauma serving me, or is this bringing me down? Here's what happens. Every single time we think a thought, an emotion comes with that thought. Every thought you think, an emotion comes with it. So if you're constantly thinking about what happened to you, the trauma in your past, if you're constantly looking through your life through the lens of that moment, how do you get to a bigger or brighter future? How do you cross over to the next stage of your life if you're constantly living your life through the lens of the past? How do you do that when you bring up your trauma every day? You think about what happened to you every day, and you expect yourself to live a beautiful and a happy life when you keep bringing up the trauma. It's impossible. You have to leave the trauma in the past if you want to step over into a new stage in life. Remembering your past only brings it back up. You know what happens? Your body starts to remember what you think about. Your body doesn't forget. Every time you think about that thought, you bring that emotion, you bring it back into your body. You bring that trauma back into your body. You're on a cellular level, your body remembers that trauma. Every time you go back into your thought process that you say, you know what, I remember when I got abused. I remember when my mom left me. I remember when my dad stepped out. Every time you go back into the past and you relive that moment in the conscious moment of right now, you're telling yourself, I want to feel that trauma. I want to feel that pain. I want to go back and be in that trauma. That does not serve you. If you want to be if you want to be okay, if you want to get to the other side, living through the lens of your trauma is going to hurt you. You have to understand that I need to gain a new perspective of what happened to me. It didn't happen yesterday. It's not going to happen tomorrow. So you can live your life in freedom of your trauma. You don't have to keep looking at your life saying, "Oh my God, I'm a victim." Oh my, like you don't have to wear your trauma like a badge of honor. Constantly living through that moment. And you know what happens every time you do that? Your body says, "You know what? I'm sad because of that moment. I'm depressed because of that moment." Your past emotions don't belong in your future. What happened to you in your past does not belong in your future. Leave your trauma behind. Your life is going to require you to have a brand new vision, a brand new understanding, and you can't bring the trauma with you. It's not going to add any value. It's not going to serve your wife, your husband, your children, your job. You need to step up, step out, and say, you know what? I can get through this. I'm going to get through this, and I can be better than that moment. I am better than that moment. I'm a conqueror. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Because you need to realize that you, me can fall victim to looking at our life through the visions of the past, looking at our life through our traumas, saying, I'm not good enough because my dad didn't love me, thinking that I'm not good enough because my mom did drugs. My mom, my mother was in and out of our lives, in and out of prison, in and out of jail, in on and off drugs all throughout her entire life. As long as I had known my mother, God rest her soul, she passed away 2 years ago. My mother was on and off drugs, in and out of prisons. And I could have taken that and said, you know what? Because my mom was a really went through a lot of trauma, that means that something's wrong with me. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that my mom didn't know how to handle her trauma. But guess what? If I look at my life through the lens of my trauma with my mother, I wouldn't have high self-esteem. I wouldn't have high self-worth. I wouldn't think I was valuable. But you know what I did? I decided to leave my mother's trauma with her. I don't need to take on my mother's trauma. I don't need to take on my father's trauma. I need to change the lens and the way I look at things through my life. I can do anything. But if you don't believe that, it's because you're looking at your life through your trauma. You're looking at your life through all the things in the past that wasn't possible. Anything and everything is possible, but you have to believe that. You have to come to an understanding that I no longer want to live my life through the trauma, through the lens of my past. I refuse. That is a statement that you have to stand up and stand by. Stop looking at your trauma through the lens of your past. And I want you to start looking at your life through the lens of your future. I want you to start imagining a better future. I want you to understand that you have to create new emotions, new thoughts to create new emotions. So you need to start thinking that you are better than your situation. You're greater than your trauma. You're greater than that moment. But the only way you can do that is if you change your perspective, if you change the way you look at things. When you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change. When you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change. So you have to change your perspective if you want to change your life. Your mind creates emotions. And what emotions do you need in order to have a successful life? Do you need the emotions from your trauma to have a successful life? No, you don't. Do you need the emotions of the baggage of your assault to have a better life? No, you don't need the trauma to have a better life. As a matter of fact, the moment you realize that you're bringing your trauma with you is the moment your life changes. I'll say that again. The moment you realize that you've brought your trauma into your future, your life changes. Because then you can make a conscious decision to leave that emotion right there. You don't have to pick up sadness. You don't have to pick up depression. You can pick up a new emotion, but you have to come up with a new set of beliefs in your mind. You have to come up with a new set of beliefs in your mind to say, you know what? This is also true. I can do everything that I put my mind to. Anything is possible when I put the energy towards it. Anything is possible. But if you're looking at your life through the lens of your trauma, you're going to think nothing's possible. You're going to think you're incapable of doing some of the most simplest things because you're living your life through the lens of the trauma. I hope this has added value to you guys. My name is Gerald Fears. Make sure you go to Spotify, Fearless Conversations on Apple, Fearless Conversations. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave me a comment, share, and I'll see you guys on the other side.